Everybody, and thank you all so much for watching another Weather Sim live stream, my friends. I really do appreciate you guys willing to join us, as it has been a pretty long time since we last done a live stream. It's probably been about 3 months now since we last done one, so I am finally got to be back, and so far it has gone pretty smoothly overall in terms of streaming with this computer. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I did put a lot of time and money into making this happen, so I hope you guys are subscribed to the channel, and make sure to also give this live stream a thumbs up as well. And we also consider you to do other stuff as well, as we are going to keep you guys up to date with the weather once again, almost constantly, by the way, like what we did a few months ago. And we will also be giving you guys updates on other stuff as well. So we consider you guys subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy this live stream. Which the first thing I want to start off on is going to be the weather. Okay, we got a pretty large storm system that is currently bringing some scattered showers and thunderstorms to areas of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and even parts there of the mid-Mississippi Valley. Main concern with that will be maybe a few rumbles of thunder, perhaps even a warning or two, and you guys can see that some areas are actually getting some pretty big rainfall from this. Not everybody, but some people are continuing to see some scatter showers and even a couple of thunderstorms also showing up on the board too, especially across western Kentucky and even parts there of Indiana. And we will continue to watch that closely, as we even got some other storms over here in Kansas, so those will be ones to watch extremely closely, as those could potentially become severe as well. And then the other thing that we'll be watching for is going to be another low pressure system that will be coming on in by the time we enter September 23rd. This will be about the afternoon during that day, where we could once again see some more scatter showers and thunderstorms across areas of the Ohio Valley, Northeast, and even parts there of the Midwest. We could even see some of those showers and thunderstorms develop down there over areas of Texas. And it's just going to continue once again, as we're just going to see that low pressure system. This is also considered a cutoff low, by the way, since it's not really connected to anything crazy, but it kind of just goes to show you that this is definitely going to bring continuous chances for scatter showers and thunderstorms. And then it does remain a little bit uncertain after that, but from what we're seeing right now on the models, it does look like we could potentially even be talking about some more waves of showers and thunderstorms rolling on through, even by the time we enter the beginning of October. But of course, that's still, a little far out from now, so we don't want you guys to, feel like that something bad like this is going to happen, where we potentially maybe get hit by a tropical storm or hurricane, which, by the way, we actually haven't really seen a very active hurricane season lately. And really the only thing that we been seeing in the Atlantic is just these main fish storms. So kind of like these storms that don't really do a whole lot, but they can still definitely cause the weather to change in some ways, which is probably one of the things that have kind of been influencing our weather pattern changes lately. And like I said, that kind of just goes to show you that it is definitely looking like it's going to be a little bit more active later this month and even into early October, as we are looking at a little bit more in the way of a concern for some scatter showers and even some thunderstorms as well. So it is definitely something we'll be watching very closely. Now, the other thing to look out for is going to be the rain. Now, I should probably take this back a little bit, because we're looking all the way out to the beginning of October. Let's look out to, let's say, say about September 28th. That's about 216 hours out, so, we're still looking a little far out from now, but we're not, like, looking, tens of days out, and you guys can see that from now all the way through the, last few days up to September, we could potentially be seeing some areas across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and even parts there of the Deep South and Southern Plains, maybe seeing some heavier amounts of rainfall. And like I said, that kind of remains a little bit uncertain, since we don't really, have a whole lot of detail about exactly how this will be playing out. But like I said, it is something that we could potentially see later this month, as flooding, potentially even some severe weather could occur, and we might even be talking about some areas getting hit by, like I said, we can't completely rule out the chance for maybe a tropical system to happen, but I think it's more so just going to be those continuous rounds of scatter showers and thunderstorms that we see, and this is why we recommend you guys, stay ready and prepared, as there is the potential to potentially get a little bit of problems once we enter the end of this month. Now, let's also I also kind of want to take a look at our temperatures as well, and let's select anomaly so that way we can see how much above average will be. And it looks like we're going to continue to stay above normal over here in the east for the next couple of days, so I do think we will continue to stay a little bit warmer even as we enter the weekend, which will be like tomorrow and Sunday, and it looks like we will continue to stay pretty warm. There will be a little bit of a cutoff, low, like I said, which will bring, not only chances for scatter showers and thunderstorms, but also a little bit of cold air as well. So that's kind of, once again, the reason why we're going to keep an eye on this very closely, as some areas may be trending a little bit below normal, and like I said, that's all because of that cutoff low, which not only looks to bring some of that cooler air, but that also kind of cools a lot of areas down, especially with the rainfall that it will be bringing, especially as we enter next week. And then it looks like we will continue to stay in a very similar pattern, where we'll kind of be talking about maybe a mix between both warmer than normal temperatures and cooler than normal temperatures, which either way, it is certainly possible that some of us could definitely see some scatter showers and storms, but like I said, it is also kind of uncertain at the same time, so we just want you guys to expect the unexpected, which means we're not like going to be 100% right, but at the same time, there is still the potential for stuff like this to happen later this month, especially if everything does come together just right. But yeah, let's see here. And if you guys want to leave any questions down in the chat, feel free to do that, as we will definitely keep you guys up to date with the latest. And I also wanted to, let you guys know that we will definitely be keeping you guys up to date, again, with no problem, like I said. And like I said, if you guys are wondering about why I haven't been able to do updates like this for a while, like I said, it was all because of my other computer, which just hasn't been doing the greatest job. But thankfully, this one is, doing much, much better. And like I said, this is what's, really making the difference right here. And so far, I haven't seen a single problem with the live stream yet. So hopefully that continues even throughout the next few live streams that we do. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and make sure to also give this live stream a thumbs up too as well. Your guys' support means a lot to us. And if you guys are curious, We also have, let's see, I was just going to show you guys that if you guys been wondering what's been going on over the past several days, I just wanted to let you guys know if I can find it. Let's see. Does it show it? I'm just seeing if I can find the observed rainfall. So I'm on that. Okay, there we go. I found it now. So I just wanted to let you guys know that over the past, let's see, it says, okay, so since September 9th, it looks like. And it looks like that a pretty large portion of the United States hasn't really seen a lot of rain yet. And like I said, most of this is mainly given the fact that we just haven't really gotten a whole lot of storms to come off the West Coast. And that's one of the main reasons why we haven't been seeing nearly as much of an active pattern compared to before. Like you guys can see that the Northeast, more of the Ohio Valley and even down there into the southeast have stayed pretty dry lately. There has been a few spots that did pick up, maybe a little bit in the way of rainfall, but most areas actually almost didn't see rainfall at all, which is pretty crazy, like I said, since a lot of us over here in the east are usually pretty wet this time of year, despite it being the driest month. Even though this may be our driest month of the year, it doesn't mean we are dry. We still usually get some rainfall at least, but like I said, it's still pretty unusual that we stay this dry, even though we haven't really gotten, a whole lot of rainfall. And once again, we really do appreciate you guys joining the live stream. And like I said, it did take some time for me to get to this point. And so we just want you guys to understand that your guys' support means a lot once again. And I just want you guys to know that we will definitely be back to keeping you guys up to date again. And if you guys got any questions, like I said, make sure to leave those down in the chat, because that was mainly what we were, focusing on, was going to be that active pattern later this month, which does look to, bring those chances for scatter showers and even some thunderstorms, like I said, to a pretty large portion of the United States. Which, let's actually go ahead and compare that with the European model now, because some of you guys are probably wondering about that, because what we just looked at was the GFS model. Now I'm kind of curious about the European model. Let's see what it shows. So the European model is actually showing potentially, let's see, sorry about that. The European model actually wants to show some pretty big waves of scatter showers and storms. So there's one rolling on through, it looks like, through about Tuesday, which will be next week. And then it looks like we see another one rolling on through, and it looks like that could potentially bring some heavy rainfall to areas of the Deep South, Ohio Valley, and even parts there of the Midwest. And then we might even see more rainfall than that as well, which if we compare the rainfall totals between both of the models, European model actually wants to show some areas potentially getting heavier rain. Maybe not as widespread compared to the GFS model, but definitely shows some heavier pockets of rain. So like the heaviest amount of rainfall that the European model sees right now is the area across the Ohio Valley, especially the lower Ohio Valley and over there towards the mid-Mississippi Valley. But if we compare that to the GFS model, like I said, GFS model doesn't show nearly as heavy a rainfall, still shows maybe a pocket or two up to 4 inches, but shows more widespread 1 to 2 inches amounts. So that kind of just goes to show you that it will either turn out to be a widespread 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, maybe even a few isolated locations picking up a little bit more than that, or we see, more in the way of localized rain, but the areas that get the rain potentially even see a lot more than that. So there's kind of a little bit of a difference difference right there once again between the GFS model and the European model, because either it's a widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain, or we get a whole bunch of rainfall to occur in one area, which either way, it is definitely looking like a concerning pattern overall, given the fact that we haven't seen a lot of rainfall lately once again. And this is good, like I said, especially for those who want the rainfall, but it is bad because even though the soil could definitely use water, the soil is so dry that it kind of acts like concrete. The drier it is, the harder it is, and that's what makes it really hard for the water to soak into the soil. So just because the soil might be able to handle some water, it can't really soak it up a lot. It kind of struggles, like I said, to soak up the water when it's so dry, because it's just like concrete where it's pretty hard and it just can't really soak up the water as much. So we just want you guys to understand that, as even though it may sound like a good thing that we're each getting rainfall, it's also kind of a problem too, especially since that may lead to some flooding problems. Let's see here. Still not seeing any questions, and like I said, guys, if you guys have a question you want to leave down below, feel free to, and I will definitely answer it. Right. So there's that, and I also wanted to take a quick look. I think the last thing we're going to go over is the severe weather outlook, just to, give you guys a general idea on what we could see in terms of severe weather, because for today, not really concerning, but a few severe storms are possible across areas of the Central Plains, and once again, we do have kind of a cutoff low pressure system that is still bringing some scattered showers and thunderstorms to areas over there across the lower Ohio Valley, as you can see, as we got a lot of that in western Kentucky, and some of that could even happen maybe as far east as areas in Louisville. But either way, it is definitely something that we're going to watch for over the next few hours. And then not only that, we also do have the potential of seeing a little bit more in the way of severe weather even as we head into tomorrow. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think we could maybe see a marginal risk somewhere in this area. We're not saying that is going to happen, but it is possible that somewhere in this area we could maybe get a marginal risk or two. Same goes even as we head into day 3, which will be after tomorrow. This looks to be for your Sunday, by the way, and like I said, that's after tomorrow, where a pretty large portion of the United States could definitely see some scattered showers and storms, but we still don't know exactly if we're going to be seeing severe storms or not. But either way, it is possible that we could maybe get a marginal risk or two to get issued somewhere in the central United States, like I said. Well, like I said, I think that's most of what we wanted to go over. I'll give you guys a little bit longer to put down any other questions you guys want to leave down in the chat. And like I said, it's perfectly fine if you guys, if you guys don't have any questions, but if you do, now is the time to leave them, as I think that's most of what we wanted to let you guys know in this live stream. And of course, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also leave this live stream a thumbs up if you haven't already. We really put a lot of work into making these live streams better once again. We really did, if why not thousands of dollars. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this live stream, you all. Thank you all so much for joining today's live stream. And like I said, if you guys got any more questions, just feel free to leave them right now before we end this live stream. Just making sure we got everything good and making sure we wanted to go over everything that we wanted to talk about. And yeah, I think we did. Like I said, we were mainly just wanting to let you guys know about the active pattern that could happen over the next couple of weeks. So hopefully you guys are ready for that. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend out there. And we will be sure to do a video tomorrow. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And we will hopefully see you guys in the next video once again. Most likely going to be tomorrow morning, so make sure to stay tuned for that, and hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday evening out there.